It's finally here, guys. Finally here. Game one of the 2023 Wildcard Series. The Miami Marlins versus the Philadelphia Phillies. Tonight, just a few hours away, we are previewing game one and the rest of the series, which we hope will only be 2 games and 2 Marlins dubs. We have Dave Shaw and UK Phillies in the house to help dig into the Phillies. Going to be a lot of fun. This is Locked On Marlins.
You are Locked On Marlins, your daily podcast on the Miami Marlins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Greetings from England and welcome to Locked On Marlins. This is your daily Marlins podcast. I'm your host, Peter Pratt. Hit me up, of course, on Twitter or X at Miami Marlins _UK. If you're listening to the pod, of course, hit subscribe. This is your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Marlins your first listen of the day. Of course, there is a YouTube channel. It is also called Locked On Marlins. Head on over there. Hit subscribe. If you are watching on YouTube, you have the graphics to help you. You will see a god of UK baseball. Dave Shaw is in the house. UK Phillies. Dave, how you feeling, brother?
Pete, are you ready for 4 hours of hell, buddy? Are you ready? Here we freaking go, Pete. This is it.
Baby.
I'm pumped, man. I'm absolutely pumped. I shouldn't be because I need to sort of wind down and get some sleep and catch a nap before the game, but man, I'm ready for this. All this Marlins hoodoo you put on us all the time. It's out the window. The stats I've been seeing you throw out all today and yesterday about September and August and the season. It's out the window, buddy. It's a clean slate. It means nothing, and your boys have no idea what they're walking into in the next 2 days.
Wonderful intro, by the way. Wonderful intro. That was an all-timer. Dave, tell me, right? You know, you're sitting there. This is a really interesting concept, right? Where you didn't quite know who you're going to be facing. It looked like it was going to be the Diamondbacks for pretty much the last week or so. Then all of a sudden, the Diamondbacks kind of hit a bit of a rough stretch. The Marlins kind of surged a touch. The Cubs fell away. Be honest now. Did you prefer the Marlins or the Diamondbacks?
D-backs all day, mate. Not gonna lie. Look, D-backs would been ideal because we would have missed Gallen till game 2 and Kelly possibly altogether.
Yeah,
we go well against their bullpen. They'd also hit a real rough patch of form. So them, all the Cubs, whoever we faced, they were struggling. They were losing all momentum. You guys are picking up momentum. You don't want, as the postseason go, we all know we do not want to play a team that's rolling into the postseason hot and momentum, and you guys are doing that. So for that reason alone, I'm a bit wary, but hey, look, you got to beat anyone in front of you to get to the World Series. That's the aim right now. Now we're in it. You're in it. That's the goal. Go as far as you can. Get there. Like last year showed, anything can happen. Get hot at the right time. There's no stopping you. And yeah, at first I was like, and all Phillies fans will say it. At first we were like, damn, Marlins. All right. But you know what? This is going to be one hell of a matchup. One hell of a series. I can't wait. And I wish it wasn't you guys. I wish you guys were on the other side because I'd love to see you guys go far as well. But here we are, Pete. Here we are.
One hell of a matchup, mate. What was your take on the fact that it ended up being the primetime matchup effectively? Me and Sean spoke about it yesterday. You know, they had 4 wildcard games to select and schedule in. Phillies Marlins looks to be the pick of the bunch, mate. You know, primetime slot for me. Any surprises for you on that one?
No, this is the one, isn't it? This is all eyes. You know, we've got hot since August. You guys have got hot coming in. It's a bit of David and Goliath, isn't it? You know, although we don't usually go well against you guys, we're stacked. The lineup's stacked. If Wheeler plays Cy Young as we know he can, or that sort of form, this is a great matchup versus Luzardo. Nola's vastly improved since middle of September. He's worked a few things out. He's got a new sidestep going on. You know, he's fingers crossed to figure that out, buddy. But you know, it's a great matchup. It's just it is prime time, and you know what? 8 p.m. in Philly, that place is going to be loose, Pete. It's going to be off the chains.
I mean, let's just assume, you know, it's fully sold out, which it will be, right?
Oh, it is, yeah.
Percentage-wise, by the time there's the first pitch happens, 8:08 or whatever the exact time will be, local in Eastern time, percentage-wise, who's going to be too intoxicated to be able to drive home by the legal limit at that point.
How are we doing that? I don't want to think about it, mate.
But everyone's going to be loose, right? Everyone's going to be
end.
loose.
It's going to be, yeah, look, I've seen photos and videos already. People, Xfinity Live is already busy. The bars are already busy. It's mate, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. And those players have no idea what they're stepping into, because I know they've seen it and they can say they've seen it and they know sort of what to expect, but they haven't felt it. Being there last year, feeling the stands shaking, and I mean shaking. The noise, my ears were ringing for at least an hour after the game, especially after when we clinched it against the Braves last year. To feel the noise, the atmosphere is unbelievable. The Braves crumbled, the Padres crumbled. The Astros got so lucky in that game 4 against us at home. I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing.
Yeah.
And it's important for the Phils to start fast and start strong, because we cannot let Luzardo settle. We got to get to him early. That's a bit of a concern for me. Luzardo's clutch. He's a stud. We know it. He's excellent. He's a fantastic pitcher. He would never have played in an atmosphere like this. If we can get to him early and get into his head early, I think it could go one way. But the longer he stays in, the more he has a chance to settle. Then we've got a really great game on our hands.
I think it's going to be a great game either way. But you're right. Like, from a Phillies perspective, you really want to try and get stuck into Luzardo quick and early and try to get him out of the game and see what this pen's got to say. Talk to me about, from a Phillies perspective, talk to me about Zach Wheeler. Like you mentioned, he's a Cy Young caliber type pitcher. What's Zach Wheeler? I mean, it's tricky, right, for the Phils, because you'd clinched this spot a few weeks ago in some ways. And so you've kind of just been trying to tread water a touch. So what's Zach Wheeler been like, let's say, kind of post All-Star break or into September? And equally, do you think that hurt you a touch? The fact that, like, you probably had to take your foot off the gas, or they naturally took the foot off the gas. Now they need to re-accelerate into what's going to be a lively series.
Great point. And it is a concern, because like I said earlier on, you want to go into postseason momentum. Winning that last game against the Mets, that big win was really, we needed that, because we were starting to start out. But our September was generally good. We had a great run in the final 2 weeks building up to this. We won 6-7 straight before that Mets series, including a series win against the Braves. So that was huge. So we didn't really take our foot off until that Mets series, because like I said, we'd won 7 straight. Until then, we'd won 10 in our last 12 games. We were coming in hot. Wheeler started the season slow, but he usually does. His velo's down, but he has, especially in August and September since the All-Star break, just shown it's there. Look, I don't think Wheeler's pushed himself too hard, knowing that we should have a wild card spot, because last year our pitchers burnt out, especially in the World Series. They had no arms left. Nola had no arm. The bullpen's arms were dead. Wheeler just wasn't the same. And I can't help feel that all season long, not just with the pitchers, but all the players, they haven't been, they've shown glimpses of it, but they haven't been full throttle, because they know the longevity of the season and learning from last year. Because I think last year, the Braves series sort of really took a lot out of them. The Padres series was great, but we gave it our all against the Astros, but the arms ran out. So I can't help but feel that Wheeler and Nola, to an extent, I think they've been saving themselves a little bit for this series.
Interesting.
I think the start of this game 1 is just so important for the whole series. If we can start well, get to Luzardo, fantastic. Get some runs on the board, get the boys hitting early, brilliant. That sets the tone. If you guys come out and get to Wheeler and we can't get to Luzardo and you boys get some runs on the board, the atmosphere slightly changes. The fans get nervous because they're expecting. It's at home where we're the favorites. We're not used to that either. Last year we were you guys. We were the underdogs. So I think the tone will be set early, and I think it could have big implications on the series. But I have every faith in Wheeler and Nola that they're going to deliver this week.
Yeah, contract year Nola as well. I do think that's a really interesting wrinkle.
With Aaron, Pete, he's had a terrible season. No, for contract, he turned down a nice contract from the Phils because he feels he's worth more. And when he's on it, my word, he's worth a lot of money. But he hasn't done it this year, and he'll be offered from all the teams a lot less than what he was offered at the start of this year. However, Nola's whole tenure his whole reputation, his whole legacy with the Phils will be decided this postseason. His season's been terrible. However, if he goes out tomorrow and deals, hold on a minute, Nola's come up clutch. Usually starts the season well and tails away in September, October. If we go to NLDS and he performs there, NLCS and beyond, and delivers, that's his legacy right there. He decides how the ending of his Phillies career goes. I don't think he'll be back next year, whatever happens. But I think his legacy will be decided in these next games coming up. He'll be seen as a hero. Yes, Aaron, you've done your best for us in postseason. You delivered, all the best to you. Or if he carries on like he has been this season and the season's gone by towards the end, it's not going to be the fairy tale ending. I'm hoping for fairy tale ending. Like I said, since the middle of September, he's turned it around. He really has got better. He's really put in some great performances. Yes, the solo shots to home runs are a concern still. It's still in his locker. No lead you feel is safe of Aaron because, right, as we know, runners on base, he just can't do it. But he's worked out a new stride. He thinks he's figured it out. The signs are promising. So tomorrow we'll see. But if I'm the Marlins, I'm taking Aaron Long in counts. I'm trying to get on base however way possible. You take those walks against Aaron Nola because they're going to know once you're on base, he tends to crumble. So a really, really interesting matchup tomorrow.
Yeah, that really is. That definitely plays into what type of offense the Marlins have this year, where they're contact heavy. They're looking to get runners on base and just find ways to manufacture and create runs. That's really interesting. We're going to talk about the Phillies offense too, because listen, I think the strength of this club is really on the offensive side. There's a lot of studs. We're going to talk about that. Before we do that, let you know about our good friends over at Bird Dogs. Yes, sir. Guys, listen, you're going to need these for this postseason run. No doubt, Bird Dogs, they fundamentally make you look good. And that stretch khaki shorts, they are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you that truly sculpted look. I can see Dave Shaw's face already. He knows he should be all over these Bird Dogs
this way.
Let's go. Bird Dogs, they do the exact same thing as the Lululemons, but fit way better. They fit better than regular shorts that are made of that stiff, restricting cotton. No good. No stiff, restricting cotton here. No. And Bird Dogs, they have invented this cloud knit fabric. It looks just like khaki, but stretches. So you get that way slimmer look. Wow, wow, wow. Stunning. So the other thing too, these Bird Dogs, they are functional. They cover any occasion. Golf, baseball, dates, evening out, pool, workout, work, you name it. Bird Dogs have got you absolutely covered. So get yourselves over to birddogs.com/LockedOnMLB or enter the promo code LockedOnMLB at checkout for a free Bird Dogs water bottle with your order. That's birddogs.com/LockedOnMLB for a free water bottle at checkout. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We promise you. All right, you are here with UK Phillies Dave Shaw and myself, Peter Pratt, previewing what will be a stunning series between the Marlins and Phillies. I think there is going to be a lot of drama here, and I think that drama is going to be centered around the Phillies offense. I think it's one hell of an offense, and in some ways it's kind of built similar to the Marlins, where there's a lot of contact guys in there too. There's some big names in there too with Schwarber and Bryce, clearly, but some of the other guys in there too are having some real nice seasons. So Dave, just try to give me a synopsis of the Phillies offense coming in here, and who's going to be, we know Schwarber and we know Bryce, but who are going to be the other guys that may need to stand up here to kind of be the real catalyst for this Phillies offense?
Well, Pete, you say contact. It's the first time in Phillies franchise history they've had 6 players hit 20-plus home runs in a season. There's a lot of power in this team. There's a lot of pace in this team as well. Look,
that feels a lot. Bloody hell! I better look up there. Who's been hitting these bombs? 6 players with 20 or more bombs.
Schwarber, Harper missed half the year. He's already gone 20 plus. Bohm, JT, Castellanos, and Trey Turner.
Wow,
that's your 6. Turner's
forgot about Castellanos. You know what? It's funny. I just even forgot. And Castellanos last postseason was an absolute stud, and he turned into a Gold Glover out of nowhere. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we do that. Well, St. Louis, the wild card game last year, the stretch out catch, heroics because it saved the run. Then he did it again against Atlanta Braves in the NLDS in Atlanta.
What happened with Castellanos
to get us a win? And he has just been outstanding ever since. He's fantastic in the outfield. People were so worried, including myself. A lot of people, he's not the best defender, but my word, him, Marsh, Rojas, Pache. No out in that midfield, center field. It's really good. It's completely changed the dynamic of the defense for the Phils out there. Hitting wise, there's just It's just a stacked lineup, Pete. There is no weak link. There really isn't. Schwarber is the most bizarre, craziest leadoff player you could ever have.
He really is.
Can't play anywhere else. We've tried him down the lineup. We put Trey at leadoff, Stott at leadoff. Nothing works. He doesn't hit anywhere else. He only hits these bombs at leadoff. 47, 48 home runs this year, the most he's hit in his career. It's absolutely insane from leadoff. A lot of solo bombs, but what he does do is he gets you off the mark. He puts you 1-0 in front. So many first pitch home runs this year. So many first inning home runs. It puts you 1-0 up straight away. The pressure's straight on the opposing side. It just works. Trey Turner, since the standing ovation, has just been a revelation. An absolute. And now some are saying he's in the best form he's ever been in. It's been unreal. Bryce Harper is clutch. Look, whenever a big moment's needed, Bryce has been there this year. Last year, we saw it against the Padres. Oh, man, this occasion, the big occasion, is built for Bryce. He's that man. He's that headline grabber. He's the star. He's the MVP. He is the man that if you're down 2-3 runs, 3 men on base, something's going to happen. Alec Bohm is one of the most clutch players you've got in the team. He's just nearing 100 RBIs this year, 20 home runs. He's been a revelation. He's been fantastic at third base as well. Bryson Stott, okay, so a bit of a slippy September. He's got going again. Johan Rojas, I'll tell you what, watch out for Johan Rojas. What an emergence out of nowhere he's been in the field. He's one of the best central defenders I've ever seen in baseball. He is going to be an absolute star defensively. With the bat, his contact's fantastic. Yeah, power's not there, but he gets on base. His speed is fantastic. He can steal. Pache gives you contact as well. Oh, man, this lineup. The bench guys have been doing it. Souza's a great guy to come off the bench. Stubbsy's just a locker room man.
Stubbsy, there we go. There he is.
He's just the motivator. He is what a teammate he is. The lineup is stacked, and if they start clicking, if they get going, it's game over for any team. We should be putting 6-7 runs up every game. Doesn't matter who it is. If they get clicking.
All right, I'm gonna have to wind this one back a touch and put some apologies out there that I even tried to make a connection with the Marlins and Phillies offense and some sort of comparisons. That comparison, I'm just going to put that one in the bin and just put that down to a couple of Guinnesses pre-game here. So, it is what it is. But boy, oh boy, this the Phillies offense, it is wild. Dave, can you call on any weaknesses? Is there any weaknesses we can talk about here just to give the Marlins fans, which will be tuning in their droves here, they're looking for some glimmers of hope here. If the Phillies are going to mess this up, where's the weakness? Where are we going to do it?
Defense infield hasn't been fantastic this year. Trey Turner's made a lot of errors and still is in the infield. Bohm's been good. Harper's been at first base has been all right. It's worked. He hasn't made any major slip ups. But he's going to be really tested in the postseason. Stott's fantastic. Stott's a Gold Glove in shortstop, but get that ball in the infield to Turner, and I think he's going to have some nerves there because he's 20 plus errors this year in the infield. He's not the vacuum we know he can be.
He's a DH.
Thankfully, Schwarber's now DH and out of the outfield, which is a massive relief to all of us because it's like it's not a pretty sight watching him, chase after and miss quite easy sack flies and pop ups. The lineup, the boys can get frustrated. They never give up, but there's a few swing and misses in there. They can go chasing. They've got to be disciplined. Because if they start getting behind and start chasing, and we've seen it a few times this season, especially against you guys as well, our kryptonite as such, it's they go chasing. Casty goes chasing, a horrible tendency to go chasing, horrible balls way off the plate in the dirt, tracing the same. Bryce, we know, if he connects, it's gone. If he misses, it's gone straight past him. So that the Phils can be reluctant to chase a game from behind and chase it too hard. The bullpen's a little bit of a question mark. There could be.
There we go.
Your way in, and it's picked up of late. Thankfully, Kimbrel's a big worry. Kimbrel has been fantastic first half of the season. He didn't make the postseason team with the Dodgers last year. They didn't have him. And I can see why, because he burns out. Strahm is way over his career innings and has shown it at times, although he has missed it every day. Hoffman, Jeff Hoffman, Like, where's he come from? No one of us know where he's come from. You know,
Who
he's
is
one
he?
of the free agents from the Twins last year. Just meant to be a pickup piece. Meant to go to the minors. He's been one of our best, if not best, bullpen piece we've had. The emergence of Ryan Kirkering has been. This could be the secret weapon for us. We'll see what he can do. He started the year in high A. Started the year in high A in Clearwater.
Wow.
He's come all the way up through. He could be a real, like I said, secret weapon or unsecret weapon because more and more people are starting to know about him. But overall, Alvarado, the big moments hasn't been as lights out as he can be. Dominguez has had not a great season. Soto's very hit and miss when he's on it. Great when he's not. Ish.
Yeah.
So the bullpen is a bit tendency to give up some runs. So that's where the nerves are going to come from.
No doubt about it, mate.
Weakness.
No doubt. I mean, just hearing you talk through all those names, there's a lot of stories in that bullpen, like of guys that have emerged, which is fun. Equally, there's a lot of volatility is the word I think I would use for some of those back end guys that you've just mentioned, which, listen, when I know you don't watch a ton of Marlins games, but really the Marlins are built on trying to keep a game close early. And then from the 7th onwards, seemingly the offense comes alive and their bullpen clicks. So, that's going to be the script where you'll feel like maybe you're cruising, you're a couple up. Hey, this is us. This is for us to take. We're 3-0 up going into the 7th. Next thing is, bang, 4-3 down. And then they shut it down. You're like, how did we lose that one?
This is why we need Wheeler and Nola to try and go 7, at least 7. And then we can put in Alvarado, possibly Kirkering, Soto, possibly. He's had a nice September. Dominguez, there's a big question mark. If he finds, but then last year, Dominguez going into the postseason was a big question mark. And all of a sudden he found it. So we know he's got it. Soto as well. Like I said, when it's going well for him, what a pitcher. You can see why he's an all-star. When it's not going well for him, he not only allows a run, but he does it in bucket loads. He's had some horrible outings this year. So it's
great to hear.
It's going to be and Kimbrel. I would rather he was a last resort.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He's just, he looks burnt out, but he's had a great year, great saves, but I think he's burnt.
Gassed. Okay. Well, we're going to carry on the conversation here. This, for those listening and the majority of people tuning in, because I see the stats, I know most of you are based over in the States. And so many of you will be thinking, man, there's 2 British dudes here talking on Locked On Marlins about this Marlins Phillies series. And hold on a minute, what time are these games starting? How are these boys going to consume this content? We're going to talk about that shortly. Equally, looking at how this series is actually going to play out. We've got some predictions coming in. I think I know how it's going to go. But before we do that, good friends over at FanDuel. And guys, snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel. It is America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. I'll repeat that line just in case you missed it. New customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place just a $5 bet. Unbelievable. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use, and there's a wide range of betting options included. Spreads, player props, over-unders, and more, of course. So just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. All right, guys, final segment here with Dave Shaw and myself, Peter Pratt. We are previewing Game 1 and just fundamentally this wildcard series between the Marlins and Phillies, primetime series. Dave Shaw, if the Phillies are going to win this, I'll let you dwell on this for a second. If the Phillies are going to win it, how are they going to win this? I think I know your answer. But before we get into that, these games are starting at 1 a.m., just after 1 a.m. for us in the UK. It's staying at the 1 a.m. slot for all 3 games if required. Just try to talk us through your pre-match preparation and your content watching. How are you going to watch the games here?
This is the worst, Pete.
It is. It's tough.
Everyone in America can go get home from work, crack open a beer, and sit back and wait. We've got to have, it's 8 o'clock already. The plan is to try and get to sleep around 10, get a couple, 3 hours. It'll be great, but mate, I'm buzzing. The adrenaline.
I can see that, mate. You're struggling to get 3. I can see
the adrenaline's flowing, mate. I don't think I'm going to get much sleep at all.
No.
Watch the game. Get a couple more hours sleep before I'm up at 6 a.m. for work.
My days.
This week's going to be brutal. The 1 a.m. is the worst. 12 o'clock, not so bad. 3 a.m, you can get some decent sleep and then set your alarm. And then once you don't have to go back to sleep, you can start your day straight after. 1 a.m. is the worst slot. And I'm kind of hoping it's done in 2 either way.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough, mate. This is going to be a brutal week.
I don't think it's going to get any better, though, frankly, because whoever goes through will face off against the Braves. We haven't even spoken about like what the next step could be. But the reality is Phillies Braves will be box office. Marlins Braves. The reality is the Braves are box office. Like, you're going to be in that. From a UK perspective, it's a graveyard shift all the way. But we have to find a way to get it done. I'm following a similar strategy, mate, of early snooze, get up, watch the game. I've then got the school run at 7. So that means I can't be boozing through the game, which is not optimal either. I mean, maybe one wine. One's okay, isn't it? For the school run. So, a couple more minutes left here, Dave. The Phils, they're at home. The atmosphere is going to be pumped. They are the 4 seed. Although actually, it probably, it's one of them where they're the 4 seed, but they may be the 3rd best team in baseball in some ways. But nevertheless, 4 seed at home.
Without that.
Exactly. Everyone's expecting the Phillies to win this series. If they are going to win it, who's going to stand up and how are they going to win this series?
In 3.
In 3?
Philly,
wow.
A lot of people are saying I'm very confident that we're going to sweep it. That's not the Phillies way. We don't do things like that. We don't. It's just the Phillies don't. They're going to put us through it. If they're going to get through us, it's going to 3. I can't help but feel we're going to be getting up on Thursday night like zombies, ready for a winner takes all. Because it's the Phils. We don't do things by halves. We don't do things like sweeping. It just does it, especially against you guys as well. Yeah. I think there's going to be I can't even think about losing one of these games, but I just got a feeling it's going to go to 3 games. Which one? I don't know. I think we'll win tonight, possibly drop the tomorrow, and then Suarez will go on game 3. He's been getting better of late as well, and I just think we'll have enough. I think there's a Harper moment in this game. I think there's a Alec Bohm moment in this game, and I think there's a Johan Rojas moment in this game. Those 3, and a Schwarber customary home run somewhere. But I think Harper, Bohm, and Rojas are gonna have a moment, but we're also gonna have a slip in the bullpen somewhere. I just don't 100% trust it.
Yeah. Love it. I also think it's going to 3, but I think if it goes to 3, it really favors the Phillies in many ways. The Marlins are making their kind of roster moves. They've effectively run out of arms. They got 2 starters plus Eddie Cabrera, who's kind of effectively being used as a
no Cueto, right?
Cueto's off the postseason roster. So, if the Marlins make it a game 3, if it's necessary, I shouldn't say make it. I mean, they theoretically can go and win the first 2. But if a game 3 is required, the Marlins have a bullpen game queued up effectively. The Marlins' strength has sat in the bullpen, crazily enough. And so that's the reason, that's the rationale, right? It's going to come down to it. Eddie Cabrera, short leash, and then the bullpen's going to take over. So bullpenning it in game 3 against Ranger Suarez, it'll be nervy, no doubt about that. But yeah, to your point, I can see from a Marlins perspective, I just have a random feeling about Jesus Sanchez. I don't know what that feeling is, but I just have a feeling about Jesus Sanchez coming alive out of nowhere. A lot of people are looking at Arias, MVP, World Series MVP, Hoy Soler, obviously. Josh Bell, he's got a great record.
The Philly killer. We're dreading him. We are dreading him, mate.
I know exactly. You can see that moment, right? Bell just hits a home run and it hits the bell. Just imagine that.
Already foreseen it, mate. I know Josh Bell's got a moment in him against us. Always has.
Exactly.
I think it's how you boys handle the nerves, because it is going to be it's a big deal for the players. The Marlins, they're making there's a lot of history here for the Marlins. I know you got through a couple of years ago, but this is this is for real. This is in front of fans. This is Miami looks locked in. I've seen the fan zones in Miami. I've seen the watch longs. Fans are getting invested. This is a big deal for the Marlins. This is time now to grow some sort of dynasty, a fan base, a new fan base. Get fans through the doors. Postseason runs do that. So this is a real big deal for the Marlins. It's not just about getting there. You want to go on, because it's not just about getting as far as you can. It's about what it does for the whole franchise, the fan base. It revitalizes all of it.
It does.
So there's a lot of pressure on the Marlins players. They know, but it's all about how they handle the nerves. If they do well with it, then damn, they have a real good shot at this. But if they don't, and the fans do get in their heads and they do start to crumble, it may get ugly. But oh boy, I'm ready for this, Pete.
What a juicy series. What a juicy series. I think everyone's ready for it now. By the time they've listened to this, they should be absolutely pumped. Guys, it's been a lot of fun. Been a lot of fun. I appreciate Dave Shaw from UK Phillies and his about 68,000 followers on Twitter for joining us today on Locked On Marlins. Thanks to you guys for making Locked On Marlins your first listen of the day. We've got game one on deck here. Jesus Luzardo taking on Zach Wheeler. There's going to be so many scenes in this series. We'll wait to see how it goes. But I look forward to being back with you tomorrow, guys, looking ahead to game two, whatever the result may be in game one. I look forward to seeing you then.